Hi and welcome back to my channel, Sunshine Lorena. So, we're like middle to end of September. I was going to say August, no, middle to end of September, and I have not filmed my August wrap up until now. Yes, I have been very disorganised, I apologise, but doing it now, wrapping August up. I'm going to see all the books I read in August. I took part also in the 1,000 Word Readathon, and I was away on holiday as well in August. Part of the reason why I've been so disorganised because the end of August, early September, which there will be a vlog coming up of me being in Sicily and my reading, etc. So look out for that. And yes, we're just gonna get into it. I read 10 books this month. Only 2 of them I read physically. The rest were either audiobooks or ebooks. Because yeah, due to being on holiday, and I approached the 1,000 Word Readathon a little bit differently and did all audiobooks because it's when I was travelling, so I kind of was practical about that. And if you want to see like more in depth about it, you can check out a vlog which I'll link. So yeah, let's just get into it. I don't want to ramble on too much because yeah, 10 books is a lot to get through. Okay, so first up, I read Mambo and Murder, I've learned to say it, by Raquel V. Reyes. Now this was an arc which I got from NetGalley, and it's due to come out in October. It is a cozy mystery. It was fun, it was cute, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. So it follows our main character Miriam. She moves from New York to a small town in Florida, not Miami. She's originally from close to Miami, but yeah, they moved to the small town to her husband's hometown because he got a job there. So she gives up her job to like kind of go there and look after their son. She was a food anthropologist. She like did a PhD and stuff, so she's like super smart, knows all her stuff about food. So yeah, they moved there. So yeah, they were close to his family. So she's around her mother-in-law who doesn't really like her. Her husband rekindles a friendship with an ex, but her best friend Alma is also there. So she has that friendship there, that dynamic, so that is a positive. And thanks to her friend Alma, she ends up getting a short-term kind of job, working as a little segment as a Caribbean food host on a Spanish language morning TV show. So you get lots of little recipes. And at the very end, I really enjoyed the fact that there was like the recipes from some of the stuff that was mentioned in the books. That was fun. But for like the mysteryness, she's there, she goes to this luncheon with her friend Alma, but also her mother-in-law is like involved in these women's like stuff as well. And yeah, one of the guests, which is at her table, drops dead into their chicken salad. And then not long after, someone else ends up dying as well. So Miriam ends up getting herself kind of involved in a little bit amateur sleuthing and investigating, and I'm not going to say much more than that, but it was really fun, it was really cute, I really enjoyed it, and like I said, 4 stars, so it was a great start to the month. I then read Killing for Company by Brian Masters. Now this was the first pick, of Chloe Reed's books, Chloe's Crime Scene Corner. That is a mouthful. And yeah, it was her pick. It was a non-fiction pick, and yeah, it's on the case of Dennis Nilsen. I didn't give this a rating. I wasn't too sure exactly how to rate it due to the subject matter. It was informative. I thought it could have been, I don't know, constructed a little bit better in the way it was written, but it was informative, and there were certain chapters that I did enjoy more than others. Other bits I felt didn't really provide any additional information, but yes, it was nice to it was good to kind of learn the background, and I never read true crime books, so it was a really good start to get me into those types of books. Then I read The Castaways by Lucy Clark. It's a thriller. It is an isolated setting, and in case you don't know, love a thriller with an isolated setting. Now usually these are on cold settings for some reason when they're isolated, but this one is not. It's on a desert island, so I love the fact that it was like, yeah, a different type of isolated setting. I hadn't picked up a thriller in a little while, and yes, I really enjoyed that. So I've given it 3.5. Now I'm going to read the synopsis because I don't want to, that's all I knew going into it, and I think it was good to only know that information. So then I was, surprised by the other elements that came through, and I think it's best going in not with too much information. So the synopsis: a secret beach, a holiday of a lifetime, wish you were here? Think again, it should be like any other holiday, beautiful beaches, golden sunsets, nothing for miles. You'll never want to leave until you can't. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, obviously we have some characters who get stuck on a desert island. It is following a plane crash. I'll give you that piece of information, but I'm not going to go into the details of much else. It's a great premise set out. Where it kind of lacked for me was that it was a really good setup, great atmosphere, but there was at points where you're following two different timelines, but there was points where you felt like it was just kind of being dragged out a little bit to, like, I don't know, make it a little bit longer, and I felt like it could have, other things could have happened, or it could have been cut back a little bit. But it was really good. I did enjoy it. Twists in there that you didn't see coming, and yes, so if you want a isolated thriller, definitely check it out. It's a good book. It's a good book. Then I read Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, in case you didn't know. And this is for Kiara Foster's Austen Along, reading all 6 of Jane Austen's novels. So this was the first month. It's all in publication order, and there's a Discord, everything. So I've only read Pride and Prejudice before, which was back in April, which is September's pick, which I'm not rereading since I read it 6 months ago. Yes, but Sense and Sensibility, it was the first time reading it. I was aware of the story because I have seen an adaptation, but it was quite a while ago. So yeah, I'm doing this because I am really interested in reading all of Jane Austen's novels because I really like them. So this one I gave a 3.5, whereas I gave Pride and Prejudice a 4. It wasn't quite the same level for me. I think I got pulled in to the characters more of Pride and Prejudice, but I don't know if it's just because I knew that story better. So, but yes, 3.5 still good. So it follows 2 sisters, Marianne and Eleanor, one sense, one sensibility. It's following the death of their father. Them and their mother have to move, and it's kind of on the storyline of courting, falling in love, etc. I don't want to go too much into it. I do enjoy a good Jane Austen novel, but yes, I enjoyed it. It was great, and yeah, I don't think there's much else I can say. Yeah, great, enjoyed it. Then I went through a little audiobook period here. So just before the $1,000 readathon, I knew I had a little bit of time to read, but not that much time to physically sit down and read. So I got on audiobook from Scribd, and I always have a link down below if you want to join Scribd. Using that link you get 2 months for free. I'd get 1 month for free, not sponsored, guys. But yes, I read The Empress of Salt and Fortune, and this is the first in the Singing Hills cycle. And yeah, I gave this a 3.5. Like I said, I listened to an audiobook. I think it was really well done. I think it might have benefited more reading it physically. I think because I was packing and things, maybe I wasn't fully immersed in it to enjoy the full story. It is a fantasy, and it's like a novella. It's not long. It's a really quick read. A young royal from the far north is sent south for political marriage, alone and sometimes rebelled. She has only her servants on her side. So this chronicles her rise to power through the eyes of her handmaiden. At once it's a feminist high fantasy and a thrilling indictment of monarchy. Yeah, it's good. I recommend it. But yeah, I think I would have definitely preferred reading it physically rather than on the audiobook. The audiobook was good, but I think to get all the details physically would have been better. Ebook, fine. Then now we've got into the $1,000 readathon books. So the first one, like I said, these were all audiobooks I read, was Cappuccinos, Cupcakes and a Corpse, and I gave it 3 stars. I'm not going to go too much into these. This is written by Harper Lynn. I'm not going to speak about them too much because yeah, I have my blog if you want to see my in-depth thoughts. But yeah, it was a quick, easy, cozy mystery. It's the start of a cozy mystery series. It's one that I would definitely pick up another time to follow on with it. So yeah, Francesca moves back to her hometown and takes over the family business, Antonio's Italian cafe. So yeah, she obviously is there making, baking, doing all the coffees and stuff, very heavily involved in the business. But she stumbles upon her dead neighbour's body on their way back home one day. And they discover that he was poisoned. And yeah, she again starts like Mambo murder. Why can't I get that right? She ends up becoming an amateur sleuth and investigates herself, and I am really enjoying the cozy mystery, guys. They're all so fun, so cute, and yeah, the amateur sleuthing, trying to discover stuff, I am enjoying it. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. The next one I read for a $1,000 readathon on audiobook again, and it was Binti. Now this again is a short one, like novella. It is Afrofuturism, which is my first Afrofuturism book. I give it a 3.5. I really enjoyed it, again on Scribd. I think they have the other ones. I definitely want to check out because this is the first one in the series, but I definitely want to read the rest of them. So yeah, it was well written. I really enjoyed it. Audiobook, I felt it was really atmospheric. Binti is our main character, and she's the first of the Himaba people ever to be offered a place at Umunza University, the finest institution of higher learning in the galaxy. But to accept the offer will mean giving up her place in her family to travel between the stars and among strangers who do not share her ways or respect her customs. Knowledge comes at a cost, one that Binti is willing to pay, but her journey will not be easy. The world she seeks to enter has long warred with the Medusa, an alien race that has become the stuff of nightmares. Umuza University has wronged the Medusa, and Binti's stellar travel will bring her within their deadly reach. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked the aspect she's the first of her people, so to the other people on the ship going up to the university, they're really surprised by her, find her strange. It's learning different customs. It was really well written. I definitely recommend, and like I said, I want to read the rest in the series because I think there's another 2 in there, so that'd be really great. Then the final book I read for a $1,000 readathon, Dial A for Aunties. Now, guys, we have another 5-star read. I really liked them this year, but this audiobook was fantastic. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It made me laugh, although I didn't really laugh out loud because I was traveling and people would have thought I was weird, but internally I was laughing out loud. So if you don't know, also there is going to be a second one coming out next year, but if you've not read this one, do not look it up because it would kind of give away something that happens at the very end of this first one. So read this, listen to the audiobook, whatever format you want it in first before you go and look up that second book. Basically, our main character, she accidentally kills her blind date. Now she was set up with this blind date by her mother who was meddling. That whole thing, the situation how it came up, hilarious. When you read it, trust me, you'll enjoy that. But yes, she accidentally murders her date, and she doesn't know what to do. She tells her mum, and then the aunties come in. Now they are the aunties, the mother, they are hilarious. I loved how they're portrayed. I love them as characters. I would love to see this adaptation. But basically they have a family wedding business, and they have to deal with a wedding as well of like 1,000 guests or something, and they're trying to get rid of a body. And they are like a Chinese Indonesian family, and yeah, it's just the aunties really brought it to life. The interactions, I love this. It was 5 stars. The audio book is fantastic, and if you please read this, guys, read it. If you've read it, let me know, did you enjoy it, because I absolutely loved it. Then we read me, I read Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I gave this a 3.5 stars. This is romance, but it isn't like fully like happy, everything's, you know, all good and great. She does touch on a few elements of slightly difficult topics. Yeah, so it's not full on happy, just to make you aware of that. Because I know with romances you just expect it to be light-hearted, but yeah, she does touch on things that aren't light-hearted either. So if you don't know, this follows two writers, and basically they end up, our main character, one of our main characters, January, she ends up going to a house, this beach house in this town, so that she can try and write, because she's having some writer's block and she needs to get this book out of the way. And then it turns out the next door neighbour is Augustus, and they actually went to college, university together, and they did not get on. Anyway, one thing leads to another, and they end up making a bet. Now, because Augustus also writes books, except he writes like dark, like sad, thriller type, not, you know, no happy endings in his novels. January writes romance novels, everything's happy, everything's wrapped up in a nice neat bow. So they make a bet to switch genres, and the bet is, you know, they have to, is to see who gets their book published first, and that's the winner of the bet, etc, etc. Now, as part of this, they do little kind of sessions, I don't know the best way to describe it, like once a week, that to help the other one with this new genre. So kind of lessons on, so January does these little kind of cute rom-com type date situations, so he can see kind of what it's all about, and he does his one for her. Yeah, and that's all I'm gonna say. It was fun. I enjoyed it, the interactions, and yeah, I don't want to say too much else because I don't want to ruin that for you. Then I read The Refugees. This is a collection of short stories. I can't remember how many there was, but it's a collection of short stories, and I gave this a 2.5 stars. Where to begin, what to explain? So if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen I already did like my little Instagram post with my review. So I did kind of go into detail on there a little bit about kind of what my issues were with it. So yeah, 2.5 stars, which, I mean, I know 2.5 technically is in the middle. I always think 3 is 3 and above, but 2.5 technically in the middle, but to me that means it's lacking. It's not quite as bad as a 2, but it's not in that good range. So I am definitely in the minority if you look at Goodreads and the ratings. I definitely enjoyed like the first story, and there was another one as well, and I felt like they really kind of said what it was going to do in the tin, basically, because this, I don't think everyone's explained the premise. So it is stories about Vietnamese Americans, so what people who have Vietnamese origins and who have immigrated to America. That's the kind of premise. It's their different stories. So the first one, and like I said, there was another one, at least another one, I felt definitely did follow that. There was, I think it was the first one, where it was he'd come from Vietnam to America, and he ended up living in this house with this couple. There were two men, so they're two gay men, and it was a huge culture shock for our character that we're following. I don't know, I can't speak today. The character that we're following, because it's not something he'd been exposed to. There's other things obviously culturally as well, but I felt like it kind of showed kind of what it was, the kind of, to show as an immigrant, to show if you have immigrated to another country, kind of what kind of culture shocks and things that can happen. So yeah, I felt like it did play into it. Like I said, there was another one as well, but the other stories I felt didn't really actually, they could have been about anyone. It wouldn't necessarily be Vietnamese Americans or anyone who had immigrated to another country. It could have been literally about anyone, and I suppose for me it didn't really, that wasn't what he said in the book, you know, that wasn't what the premise said. So I felt like it didn't deliver what I was expecting. That was quite a mouthful, but yes, that's it, 2.5 stars. I mean, if you've read it, let me know what your thoughts were. Yeah, so yeah, for me, not for me. And it's probably one that I will look to unhaul when I do an unhaul. Okay, so that's it. That is all of the books I read in August. I feel like I've been talking for ages. I hope this video isn't too long. Let me know what you read in August. If you read any of the books that I read, any recommendations for me. And yes, thank you for supporting me. We are now over 300 subscribers, so thank you very much for every comment, every like, every subscribe, every share. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, comment, like, subscribe, and I hopefully will see you in the next one. Bye!